Hey, Star Trek fans, Dan Gunther here. First of all, I want to start by saying thank you for indulging me the last few days off. I did, in fact, get married this past weekend. I got myself a new piece of jewelry. I'm not referring to this, but this. So thank you all so much who sent along your well wishes and congratulations. It was very much appreciated. I shared those messages, of course, with my wife, Nikki, and they were very much appreciated. Thank you so much. I will have a photo on the background here. I'll replace one of these with a picture of us soon. But in the meantime, here's a picture of us after the wedding. So there you go. It's such a huge joy to have her in my life and to formalize our relationship and bring it to the next level. So thank you so much again. It was a really great time. I kind of wanted to change up a little bit of what we were doing here on the channel and kind of have more of a regular feature than I have in the past. You know, my videos have been a little haphazard lately. I've had a number of projects that I've been working on. The biggest of which at the moment is the Positively Trek podcast, which is of course taking a lot of time. But I don't want this channel to fall by the wayside. I really want to put some work into it and make it something special. To that end, I think I'm going to, on Thursdays, if I can keep this up, release a kind of vlog type video. Just, quick update, mostly about news in the Star Trek universe and what's going on. Right now, of course, there is a lot of news this past week. I picked an interesting time for our marriage, given that everything kind of ended up falling here. We had that date picked first, though, CBS, so just so you know. But, we've got Lower Decks, of course, coming out a week from today. And that's going to be big. That's 10 episodes. But then we also now have the release date for season 3 of Star Trek Discovery. This is something we've been anticipating for a long time, hoping to hear something, still hadn't heard for quite a while, and now finally we have the release date of October 15th. That's a Thursday, as the last few seasons of Star Trek have been released on. And what's interesting about this is it's immediately following the release of Lower Decks. So Lower Decks will run for 10 weeks, and then the following week Discovery starts for 13 weeks straight after that. So, CBS is advertising this as 23 straight weeks of Star Trek, which, we haven't had that in a long, long time. This is pretty amazing. I heard somewhere, and I haven't looked this up, but it makes sense, that this is the most Star Trek will have gotten in one calendar year than since 1999 was the last time that we had this much Star Trek airing in one year, and that's counting Picard earlier in 2020. 2020, man, it's going both really fast and really slow. It's crazy. So that's what's going on in the world of televised Star Trek. A lot of other news going on right now, though, as well. So we've got Emmy nominations for Short Treks and Star Trek Picard. So this is pretty big. Short Treks has been nominated for Outstanding Short Form Comedy or Drama Series. Now it's up against some pretty stiff competition here. They've got digital entries from Better Call Saul and The Good Place, along with 2 new Quick Bite series on the mobile platform Quibi, which are The Most Dangerous Game and the revival of Reno 911. So some heavy hitters there. Curious to see how Short Treks will stack up against them. I'm hoping it does really well. I was really impressed with Short Treks, especially this past season's offering. So really hopeful for that. We also have a number of nominations for Star Trek Picard. Unfortunately, nothing for acting or the writing or anything like that, but they have 5 Emmy nominations, including Outstanding Prosthetic Makeup for a Series, Limited Series, Movie, or Special, Outstanding Period and or Character Makeup, non-prosthetic, Outstanding Period and or Character Hairstyling, Outstanding Sound Editing for a Comedy or Drama Series, 1 hour, and Outstanding Sound Mixing for a Comedy or Drama Series, 1 hour. So categories in which Star Trek has been nominated before. I definitely think that it has a shot in some of these categories. I haven't really looked at the competition it's up against, but Star Trek has always done really well on that side of things, on the technical side. So, hopefully we can get some Emmy wins for these as well. I'm not sure about Short Trek's chances. but we may be surprised there. Another thing I want to talk about is upcoming releases in the Star Trek universe, and these are things like books and other media and that sort of thing. So we have July 31st, this Friday, is a book that's coming out, and I don't know if many people have heard of this. I hadn't heard of this until I looked this up, but this book is called Fighting for the Future, Essays on Star Trek Discovery, and this is from Liverpool University Press. This sounds really interesting. So the back cover blurb says, the first 2 seasons of Star Trek Discovery, the newest installment in the long-running and influential Star Trek franchise, received media and academic attention from the moment they arrived on screen. Discovery makes several key changes to Star Trek's well-known narrative formula, particularly the use of a more serialized storytelling, appealing to audiences' changed viewing habits in the streaming age, and yet the storylines, in their topical nature and the broad range of socio-political issues they engage with, continue in the political vein of the series' megatext. This volume brings together 18 essays and 1 interview about the series, with contributions from a variety of disciplines including cultural studies, literary studies, media studies, fandom studies, history, and political science. They explore representations of gender, sexuality, and race, as well as topics such as shifts in storytelling and depictions of diplomacy, examining Discovery alongside older entries into the Star Trek canon and tracing emerging continuities and changes. This volume will be an invaluable resource for all those interested in Star Trek and science fiction in the franchise era. And this collection of essays is edited by Sabrina Mittermeier and Mariike Spychala. I hope I'm saying those names correctly. But yeah, this seems to be more of an academic resource, bringing together academic essays about Star Trek Discovery, something that might be really interesting to take a look in. I know a number of our viewers have a more academic bent and are studying in areas such as this. So if this looks of interest to you, that might be something interesting to pick up or take a look at. As far as other upcoming productions go, August the 4th sees the release of the first edition of the Star Trek Picard calendar from Universe Publishing. This, of course, features images from the first season of Star Trek Picard. It's a 2021 calendar. Star Trek calendars are something that I've picked up generally every year. This past year, I had the Ships of the Line calendar. I tend to get that one every year, as well as the Star Trek Discovery calendar. So, yeah, I might be switching that up and getting the Picard one this year. And that's coming out on Tuesday, August the 4th. August the 5th, the Wednesday, sees the release of issue number 13 of Star Trek Year 5. This has been a really surprisingly excellent series. I thought it would be pretty good, but Bruce and I have been reading them for Literary Treks, which we, of course, recently ended our run on, but we will be continuing the books and comics coverage on Positively Trek. Now, these comics are really excellent, and issue number 13 sounds very interesting, and here's the blurb for that. The Enterprise and her crew finally make it back to Federation space, but the Federation they find isn't quite the same as the one they had left behind. Meanwhile, Aegis and Gary Seven's grand design continues to take shape, and the consequences will be staggering. The final voyages of the original Enterprise crew continue in this episode from showrunners Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. So Bruce Gibson and I will be continuing our coverage of the Year 5 comics on Positively Trek. I've also started to do comic reviews on this channel. I did a review of the first issue of the Deep Space Nine comic Too Long a Sacrifice a few weeks ago. I'll have a card up here if you want to check that out. I think comic reviews are something I want to continue to do on this channel as well. So look for a review of that shortly after it comes out. That's on Wednesday of next week. And of course, Thursday of next week sees the first episode of Star Trek Lower Decks. The first episode is called Second Contact and will be our first real introduction to the crew of the USS Cerritos and the 4 ensigns that make up the lower deckers of that ship. So really looking forward to that. We will, of course, be doing a full review of it on a special episode of Positively Trek. I guess now would maybe be a good time to kind of outline what we're planning with Positively Trek. We're going to talk about it on our next episode as well, but we will be doing special episodes for the books and also special extra episodes that review each episode of televised Star Trek as it comes out. So As we know, that'll be 23 weeks in a row of Star Trek, so things are going to be pretty busy. Tune in to the next episode of Positively Trek. We'll outline further exactly what our plans for that are. I think it's pretty exciting. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of this format. Do you like the kind of vlog style covering of Star Trek news and important events? Let me know in the comments below what you would like to see me cover more of on this channel. I really want your feedback. I want to kind of revive this channel and make it something really special for the viewers to tune into. And on that note, thank you so much for the support of the Patreon supporters. You guys make this channel possible. I really do appreciate it. Right now, especially with my lack of continuing employment thanks to the COVID-19 crisis, I really do rely on the Patreon supporters and the ad revenue, both of which are, too low to live off of, unfortunately, but they do help make this channel a good one. If you want to help out the channel, I'd really appreciate it. Just click the link at the end for my Patreon page. Even $1 a month would really help out. But even if you don't do that, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, as always, live long and prosper. And I'm going to use my left hand for this because I keep wanting to show this off.